There are so many earbuds out there and so many good ones, and they all have this kind of classic approach when it comes to delivering audio, but the Technics AZ100 are not like the others. In fact, you could say that the tech and techniques that Technics have used here is out of this world, and you'll see why I say that in a minute. And on top of that, Technics have made some much needed and pretty significant upgrades to the software and have also improved the overall design in some interesting ways. And these, the AZ100, just like the 2024 flagships from Technics, the AZ80s, have a connectivity feature that simply doesn't exist on any of the current highly recommended earbuds here on the channel. And there is one huge audio upgrade that makes the AZ100s unlike any other true wireless earbuds out there right now that I know of. So listen, here's where things get interesting. On the table, here are my current favorite earbuds from 2024 and earlier. All of these use variations of dynamic driver tech. Some earbuds do have dual driver architecture, but Technics haven't done that. They've taken a different approach. Have you ever heard of ferrofluid? It was originally created by NASA in the 1960s as a way to control liquid fuel in space. And this fluid reacts to magnetic currents, and it's not brand new. It has been used in speaker technology in the past, but the way that Technics are using it here in these earbuds is quite different. And yes, this fluid is likely what inspired the Marvel character Venom, and I will explain how Technics are using this space grade fluid and the difference that it makes to these earbuds when we get into the sound quality section of this video. Alright, so first, let me give you a guided tour of the design and the refinements that Technics have made compared to the previous flagship, the AZ80s. The weight has been reduced by 16%, with the AZ100 now weighing in at 5.9 grams per bud. One of my criticisms of last year's AZ80, despite how good they sound, was that the overall size of the earbuds may have been a little bit too large for some people. And I guess Technics must have thought this too, because they've managed to reduce the size of the earbuds down by 10%, and they've done this by eliminating one of the dedicated voice pickup mics on each bud. Now with that said, it is worth knowing that an extra bit of hardware has been added to compensate for this microphone, and we will come back to that. So just like the AZ80s, they have that radial disc pattern on the touch capacitive areas. And these touch areas are highly remappable within the app, so that's really nice to see. You don't often see this amount of control and customization options on a lot of my favorite earbuds apps. And also, just like the AZ80s from 2024, you still have the very important and premium ear tips. I think it's fair to say a lot of companies do overlook the importance of these, but that's something Technics haven't done, because the ear tips here consist of 3 materials to minimize sound leakage, improve the passive noise cancelling, improve the fit, and at the same time, they help to keep the speaker grills free from debris. And they do also very kindly give you 5 different size options to choose from, so you can make sure you get the right fit. Now, one little thing that I wish that Technics would add to their app is a Find My Fit feature, because in some scenarios, you might not realize it, but you might actually need different size ear tips for each ear. And we will dive more deeply into all of the app features a little bit later. But anyway, right now, moving on. Now, when it comes to the comfort of these earbuds, they are significantly improved from the AZ80s. That smaller size, that lighter weight definitely helps. And when you get the ear tip size right, they sit very firmly in your ears, and they can definitely be used for the gym. And they are IP54 rated, so that means dust and splash resistancy here, so you can use them for jogging in the rain, but you definitely couldn't use them for swimming. The case still has the same pill shape and slim profile as the previous model, and it easily passes the Pocket Watch pocket test. And in fact, it's actually more pocketable than before, because the case is noticeably smaller than the AZ80's case. It is flat on all 4 sides, so no matter which way you put this down, it's not going to roll around on the table or desk. There's an LED light up front which gives you an indication of the battery life. This is pretty standard stuff, but I really like the electric blue color that they're using here when it's in pairing mode. The case is constructed from 2 different types of material, just like the AZ80, with the lid having a metallic brushed finish, and I do kind of wish the entire case was finished in this same way. And if I was nitpicking, one improvement that could be made to this particular case is if Technics could improve the fit of the earbuds inside the case a little more, as there is a slight rattle when the earbuds are in place, But that's not a deal breaker by any means. The USB-C charging port is around the back and it does support Qi wireless charging, but there's no pairing button. So to pair the AZ100s, you would need to be wearing them first and then touch and hold the capacitive touch areas on both sides simultaneously. But if they've not been previously paired to something, you can just use Google Fast Pair, pop the lid, and they will appear on your device. Now, I do have mixed opinions on whether physical pairing buttons on earbuds are important or not, but more importantly, what are your thoughts on that? So overall, this is a nice case and it's the perfect shape, but what might really blow your mind, especially considering the AZ100's case is smaller, the buds are smaller and lighter, is the battery life. So with ANC on using the standard AAC codec, which is the best that iPhones have to offer, you can get up to 10 hours playback on a single charge, which is quite incredible when you consider the AirPods Pro 2 max out at 6 hours. And do keep in mind the 10 hours and 28 hours with the case is with ANC on. So with ANC off, it's significantly better. And a little side note, when the battery runs flat, a quick 15-minute charge in the case can give you 90 minutes playback. Now listen, there is a lot of variables involved in the battery life, and there's also a game-changing codec on board which will reduce the battery life by around 2 hours, but in return will give you superior audio playback, and it is the LDAC support. Now I'm not going to go too in depth into LDAC, but it's important that you know if you have a phone that does support LDAC, for example, the Galaxy S24 Ultra, the earbuds can receive an audio signal with a bitrate that's 3 times faster than the classic AAC, which most earbuds will default to. So this does mean you can get proper high-res audio to them, but this high-resolution signal would mean nothing if the hardware, in this case the earbuds receiving them, is not capable of reproducing that high-res sound, which brings me very nicely onto Technics' use of ferrofluid in the drivers. So this is not the first time the Technics have used magnetic fluid in earbuds. In fact, it's the second. The Technics AZ100 in-ear monitors were in fact the first, and they cost upwards of £700 at the time of this video. So it's pretty safe to say that this kind of audio tech isn't cheap. So here's how these magnetic fluid drivers work. If you imagine the driver inside these earbuds as a small drum, the surface of the drum, aka the diaphragm, is made of 2 special materials. They have an aluminium center that gives you the crisp and clear high-pitched sounds like violins and cymbals. Then there's the flexible edge. So imagine all around the surface edge of the drum is this extra bendy material. This is designed to allow it to vibrate more freely and produce deep and powerful bass. And this is typically how drivers work. But here's where the magnetic fluid takes things to the next level. They've added this fluid around the part of the driver that makes the drum vibrate, otherwise known as the voice coil. The liquid acts as a shock absorber for the driver, and this allows for better control and makes the movement of the drivers more precise and with ultra low distortion. And all of this tech allows the earbuds to have a wide frequency range of 20 Hz to 40 kHz. But the question you might have is it as good as it might be sounding right now? Well, to find out, I tested them against my favorites from 2024, which does still include the Technics AZ80s. And the first thing I noticed when testing the AZ80 versus the AZ100 is how good the AZ80s still are. They're still right near the top of my best sounding earbuds to date, with the Bowers & Wilkins PI8. Honestly, the AZ80s are hard to beat, but of course the AZ100s are superior. At first, most notably, they are better in the vocal range. The best way to explain it is the sound is so clean. You can hear every breath and every subtle detail in the music, but that's not the end of the story. The AZ100s takes it even further with the bass output, and I am basing this off of listening to these with LDAC whilst using the direct setting on the equalizer, which is essentially a flat EQ. And even on this EQ, the bass is the best that I've heard to date from a true wireless earbud. It's so well rounded, there's no distortion, lots of power without muddiness in the mid-range, and even when a song is very bassy, it doesn't ruin the vocals. But of course, you might be wondering what happens when you do EQ them. Well, the first preset is actually Bass Plus, and if you like bass, you will absolutely love how deep the sound can get. Honestly, like I said before, better than the best that I've tested so far. But if you're a true bass head, the Super Bass Plus EQ will literally blow your mind. I've never heard such powerful and well-controlled bass from true wireless earbuds before. It really is that good. But now listen, If heavy bass isn't something you prioritize and you couldn't care less about that, just know the audio accuracy, the soundstage, the depth, the volume, and the overall clarity is in line with how good I think the bass is. They really are top tier sounding earbuds. And there are of course quite a few reasons why they sound so good. One of them being due to the fact that Technics have been in the audio game for 60 years. And another is the fact that they're using hardware that was previously reserved for pro in-ear monitors. And then of course you've got one of the best high-res codecs available here too. All right, now let's talk about the app and the software upgrades that I mentioned in the intro and the unique feature that's exclusive to the Technics earbuds. So on the home screen of the app, you get the quick settings and your battery levels and a row of shortcuts across the bottom of the page. Something that I really like about the app now that they've upgraded it is that you can customize the quick settings that live here on the home screen. Before they were kind of locked in place. And when you jump into the sound settings, you do get 6 professionally tuned EQs for various styles of music. And if you guys might be interested in testing out some of my own personal EQs that I've dialed in, make sure you stick around to the end because Technics do now give you 3 customizable presets to play around with. But one thing I will say about the EQs is that in some scenarios, the direct EQ, the flat one, is perfect. And I don't think I've ever said that before about any earbuds. Now, that feature that's unique to the Technics earbuds, I'm sure you've heard of multi-point pairing before. This is the ability to stay connected to a phone and a laptop, for example. Well, these earbuds are one of the few that can do triple point pairing. So you can stay connected simultaneously to 3 devices. So let's say your laptop, your tablet, and your phone. Also, LE audio and Auracast is supported here. And there's also a dedicated mode to prioritize stability or to reduce audio lag when gaming. Spatial audio is also supported here on the AZ100s, and they are officially optimized for Dolby Atmos sound. So Dolby Atmos music and movie content that has Dolby Atmos audio is going to sound amazing here on the AZ100s, and there are a couple more tricks that these have up their sleeve. So the noise cancelling has also been upgraded, and I really like the implementation of the control you have over this. So there's the auto optimization that adapts the ANC based off the sound around you, which is fantastic, but you can turn this off and manually dial in the exact amount that you're comfortable with. And this is important because some earbuds create this kind of cabin pressure feeling which can be quite uncomfortable over longer durations. And on the ambient pass-through side, you can do a similar thing and dial in the exact amount. And there's also 2 different pass-through modes to choose from. So if you want all sound to come through, you can set it to that. And if you just want voices to come through, you can prioritize that. So in regards to how good the AZ100s are in pass-through mode, it's kind of hard to say, but I have found that when playing around with the levels, setting it to around 80%, you don't get that white noise that you do get when you set it to 100%. And also at that level, you kind of get the right volume on people's voices when they're speaking to you. So for me personally, that's the best setting to have them on. Are they as good as the AirPods Pro, which many people consider to be the gold standard? They're pretty close, but one advantage that the AirPods Pro might have is the fact that there's more sound leakage around those silicone tips because they are just one material and they don't do quite as much passive noise cancelling as the tips on the AZ100s. Now, I did test the noise cancelling abilities against my favorites, and honestly, it destroys a lot of them, mainly when it comes to the lower rumbling noises like cars and trains and planes. And the only earbuds that can compete with these in noise cancelling from my favorites right here are the Sony XM5s, the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, and the Nothing Buds 2 come surprisingly close. But in comparison to those, some of the most notable differences is the ability to block out the higher and mid-range frequencies a little bit more. So just like the sound quality, the noise cancelling ability is also top tier and it's very impressive. Now, you probably already know this, but most earbuds have noise reduction algorithms for voice pickup, and the AZ100s has that too. But they also use a new AI voice feature thanks to that new bit of tech that I mentioned they added to make up for the lack of that exterior microphone. It's called the Voice Focus AI chip. It's designed not only to improve voice calls from your side, but it also offers a unique feature that can clean up the audio from incoming calls. So if someone has a Nokia 3310 or a really bad pair of earbuds with terrible mics, these earbuds, the AZ100, will clean that audio up too. So I guess now you probably want to hear how these mics sound with this new AI chip. So here's a mic test for you. Okay, so what you're hearing right now is not the AZ100, it is in fact the AZ80s, and these have that exterior voice pickup mic. Now the AZ100s have placed the mic inside the earbud itself, and then that AI chip will make up the difference. So let me know if you notice the difference when I switch now to the AZ100s. Okay, so this is how the AZ100 sound. How do they compare to the AZ80 from last year? Let me know. And now let's introduce some noise. Okay, so we got some pretty loud road noise just to the right-hand side of me. I can hear it through the earbuds, but I don't have ANC on right now. How clear is my voice? Let me know in the comments. And now let's take it up another level and introduce some wind. Okay, so this is kind of a worst case scenario, wind and loud road noise. How's it handling this extreme condition? And that concludes the mic test. So the Technics AZ100s come in at a very competitive £259 here in the UK at launch, and €299 and probably $299 in dollars, which does make them cheaper than the Bowers & Wilkins PI8 by around £90 and around £30 more expensive than the AirPods Pro 2 on Apple's official website. So I do think this pricing is kind of the sweet spot and very reasonable for such a premium sounding set of earbuds. I do believe when it comes to sound quality, these earbuds in 2025 are the ones to beat because they sound better than anything I've heard before, and they are now without a doubt among the best of the best when it comes to sound quality, in my personal opinion. So hopefully you found this video helpful. If you've got any questions about these earbuds, let me know in the comments below. If you want to know the current price on these, there will be an Amazon affiliate link below this video so you can check that out. Appreciate you guys for watching this one. If you just subscribed, you're now one of the finest subscribers known to man, and I will see you in the next one. Don't be late.